Just when you thought 2020 was bad, it's 2021 and the vaccine has began to turn people into zombies. You and your family are stuck in your home and now must survive. But first, let's set some ground rules here so we kind of have an understanding of what we're facing. I'm going to stay away from your typical zombie movie zombies because honestly they aren't realistic. Realistically, a zombie virus isn't going to plague the planet in hours or even a day or two. Unless it's airborne, but in that case, we're all dead. So, let's stick with our vaccine theory. Most viruses take days or even weeks to truly spread. And most likely, the zombies, they won't be intelligent or extremely fast because they are a form of the undead and they would begin to decay. But let's say millions have gotten vaccinated and we have 3 days to prepare. Now real quick, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel followed by the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. And let's get into it. So you just seen on the news that a zombie outbreak has begun. People are getting sick and turning into the undead. Time is of the essence here. Most likely, you're not prepared for a zombie apocalypse, because honestly, who is? Make sure you let cooler heads prevail and don't begin to panic. Step 1 would be to round up anything and everything you have in your home to prepare. Weapons, tools, any camping equipment, any flares or fireworks or any type of lights that you can use for distractions or signals. Tarps, plastics such as trash bags, buckets, batteries, food, drinks, antibiotics, any medicine, alcohol, hard liquor only though, and not to get drunk because you're in a zombie apocalypse and that alcohol can be helpful for fires or even wounds. Any rope or things that could be used as such as an extension cord or wires that are really sturdy and long. Lighters, things to start a fire with, anything. Most people, they have barbecues, so lighter fluid and coal. Proper footwear is definitely key. Clothing, and even find stuff to make makeshift armor to cover up any key biting areas. And even goggles or glasses to cover your eyes. I mean, we're all already wearing masks, so that really covers of those key areas. I mean, last thing you want to do is become a zombie yourself. And most likely, the virus will be transmitted as most viruses are, through blood and saliva. Next, I would contact my family and friends that I trust with your life, that haven't been vaccinated yet, and have them meet you at your place with all of their supplies. The more weapons, people, food, drinks you have, the longer you can survive. Now, I'd avoid joining up with any neighbors or people you don't really know or even kind of know because people, they can't be trusted, and especially in a time like this. Even if they claim they have a safe haven or supplies or whatever. If things get messy, the first thing they're going to do is throw you under the bus or sacrifice you. I would begin to use technology to my advantage. I would charge any electronics and any portable chargers and start looking up survival guides, ways to make weapons and explosives with household items, ways to set traps for catching animals, how to make flares or noisy items for distractions, ways to quickly reinforce your car, anything that you can think of that would be useful on your survival. Now, make sure that you leave all these articles and videos up on your phone because it's a real possibility you might not have service later. I should also mention pets. Now, I know it's hard, but you gotta leave your pets behind. I know pets can be like family, but it's far too risky. I mean, the last thing you want is your dog barking at a zombie and attracting any of the undead, or even survivors for that matter. Now, keep in mind that the streets and stores are going to be madness, so I wouldn't leave the home to get more supplies. And I know, I just said have people come to you, but that's so you and your family are the safest. And if they're not going to stores or making any pit stops, they probably will be okay just getting from A to B. Again, we have 3 days. Now, most people, they have enough food and drinks, whether they think so or not, to survive quite a while. Fill up any jugs and containers with water, even empty any milk containers or juice containers, and then fill those up with water. Now, most homes or even apartments, they aren't really built like fortresses. So, in a time like this, you not only have to worry about the zombies, but you also have to worry about people killing you. Plus, it's a very big possibility that the government is going to just bomb all major cities with mass infections. So, it'd probably be best to think of where to go. Now, in movies, people always seem to go to the mall or a Costco or a place the majority are most likely going to go to. And realistically speaking, you probably only have to survive a few months. Zombies, again, if we're sticking with realism here, are going to decay and die. Or they're going to die of starvation after several months. So depending on where you live, I would choose the forest, the mountain, or the desert area. You know, they won't be heavily populated, and you know that no zombies or even survivors are going to sneak up on you. Besides, zombies and people probably aren't going to be trekking through any forests or deserts or even climbing up any mountain, so you're probably safe. Now, if you don't have either, your best bet is to try and reinforce your home. In this case, board up any windows and doors, isolate to a common room, and develop an escape route in case you're overwhelmed. But I would probably try to get to one of the three that I mentioned. Again, most people's houses are built like a fortress, and it's rather easy to get into if someone or something really wants to. And most people, they live within 20 minutes or so of one of the three things that I mentioned. And though it's probably safest not to drive on the roads again, I would fear that the government is just going to kill everybody. So your home might not be the safest place. So let's assume that you made it to the woods, desert, or even the mountains. Now, I would start by setting up a perimeter, and I would even set up noise traps a good ways away. Any edge or head start that you can create is a huge plus. Now, get your camp set up. Get everything organized and separated. This is important so you know what is what and what you have to truly work with. Appoint people with jobs and tasks. Again, organization is key. And be sure to monitor everyone for any signs of turning, and either you or someone that has more of a stomach need to be the executioner. Because most people, they don't have the heart or the stomach to kill a loved one or anyone that they care about. So make sure to figure out how much food and water you have and portion accordingly. Last thing you want to do is run out of food and water. Again, you're trying to wait it out as long as possible. If you're in a forest or desert, you have options for catching food. Even in the mountains, you're probably going to have all kinds of bobcats or mountain lions, maybe even deer or other animals, depending on where you're at. And even options to obtain water. I mean, certain trees and even cactuses contain water. And it's even possible that there is a river, a stream, maybe even a lake somewhere. You can even use tarps or anything you have to create a water trap. You know, buckets, containers, and house the water. Then I would set up shifts as far as sleeping. Let's say there are 10 of you. I would do 5 sleeping and 5 awake. Because the more you have awake, the more you have alert and ready in case 1 or 2 are slacking or falling asleep. If you're in the desert, you could even make a giant SOS symbol in the desert sand for any planes or military flying over. Now, this might sound a bit obvious, but cook any expiring food first. But be sure you're still sticking with your rations. Once the food is cooked, it'll last a bit longer than its expiration. Now that you have the structure in place and your little society organized, you're prepared to wait out the zombie apocalypse and survive. But let me know what you think. And what would you do? Do you have a plan in place for if this ever happens? I mean, even the CDC says we all need to prepare for anything, even a zombie apocalypse. What do you think of this plan? Was this a good plan? And if you haven't yet, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload.